Hello and welcome to another Camel's Hump Middle School video tutorial. In today's episode we're going to be reintroducing our 7th graders to TinkerCAD and getting you started on your Hexbug project. So the first thing you need to do is have Google Chrome opened, tinkercad.com, then you're going to click on sign in using social providers, click through to Google, and use your Camel's Hump Middle School email credentials to log in. Once you've done that, you're going to be back at TinkerCAD. Welcome back. Here is a 2-minute refresher on TinkerCAD basics. Your mouse control, right click is going to move your view around three-dimensionally. Your scrolling wheel is going to zoom you in and out, and your scrolling wheel, if you press the button in the middle of the scrolling wheel, it's actually going to pan you back and forth. Notice the difference between panning and right-clicking, changing the angle. If I want to go home to my original view, I can always press the home button right here. Left clicking is going to enable you to drag shapes out and adjust their size by clicking on the white boxes. I can also customize this shape simply by clicking on the number itself and typing in the number I want it to be. I can always levitate an object up by grabbing onto this black arrow above it. I can also send it below the work plane, but remember, it's critical that your design be glued to the work plane and flat on the work plane. So if you're rotating your objects, be careful that they are not rotating at an angle that dips one corner below the work plane. In order to put this thing down, there is a keyboard shortcut, and that key is D on the keyboard. I press it, and it goes right back down to the bottom. Let's remember how to cut a hole in something. I can bring out any shape I want. And today I'll use a tube. I'm going to grab this tube out here. I'm going to make this tube taller than the shape I want to cut through. I'm then going to transform this tube into a hole. I can drag this tube into the middle of my hole, or in my box rather. And remember, I still have two unique shapes right here. I want them to be one shape, which means these guys got to get together and group. So I'm going to drag a box around both shapes. Selecting both of them, I'm going to come up to my grouping tool up here, execute the whole, and there we have it. All right, I can always ungroup something as well to go backwards, which is a really nice trick. Now, aligning. All right, say I want this hole to be right in the middle, and this is something that's going to be important for you guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab both of these objects again. Now I want to align it to put this hole directly in the middle of this box. Notice that when I click my alignment tool, I get these dots. These dots represent where you're going to be aligning your shape. So left edge, right edge, middle. Middle sounds good. Now I'm going to rotate this around, and I'm going to go to the middle of this axis as well. Now I can group. Now I've got a complete shape. Okay, that is example number 1. Example number 2 is repeating shapes. This is a new tool for you guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to begin with a tube. And copy and pasting in TinkerCAD is really handy. To copy, I can copy, and to paste, I can paste one right next to it. Okay? But say I want to create a shape that essentially, think of like the car manufacturer Audi, right? Or the Olympic rings. And I want to create a shape that has a bunch of loops or tubes aligned perfectly at the same distance away from each other. So what I can do is I can start with this first one. I can copy it, and then I'm going to bump 2 buttons over to the Smart Duplicate or the Duplicate and Repeat tool. I press this, it's going to drop a duplicate directly on top of my original. Use your arrow keys on your keyboard to move. I'm going to move this over. When you're satisfied with this distance, I'm going to click the Smart Duplicate tool again, and it's going to drop it off at a uniform distance from the first one. So here I go, I'm creating a Smart Duplicate tool. Now I'm going to let you guys use your imaginations with repeating shapes and the fact that we're creating bugs to start to kind of hypothesize about what the body of your bug might look like. Okay, Smart Duplicate tool is going to be very handy for you. Okay, now getting set up for your Hexbug design. Begin by doing this. Head back to your dashboard. Once you're at your dashboard, you're going to use this search tool right here, and you are going to search for me. You're going to search for people, and you're going to type in my name, which is Quinnkkeating. You're going to press search. And when you get to this, you're going to see my icon right here. You're going to want to click on my little icon. Once you get here, you're going to see my public designs, and I am seeing all of my designs because this is my account. When you guys log into your account and search for me, you're only going to see a couple of my designs, right? This is the one you want, CHMS Hexbug parts. You're going to click on Tinker This. Once this is open, what you're going to do is you want to make a copy of this and create working on it for yourself. So what I can do is I can drag a big box around this. I can copy this. Go back to your dashboard. Create a new design. And once you're on your new design, we're just going to paste what we just copied. Now you're going to notice that it's way off the work plane, and it's also quite a bit larger than the work plane. That's not a big deal. Okay? All of this stuff, I'm just going to group this just for a second, so I can just move this as a unit just out here into outer space, right? And I'm going to call this my hex bug. Okay? You guys are going to want to change the title. Just please be sure that you're making a copy of this and then pasting it into a new design. Okay? Now, did you notice when I grouped that, the holes disappeared? Because that's what they are. They're holes. Okay? So you want to make sure that if you move this, ungroup it so that we can see these holes again. Now, this is going to set you up to watch the next video tutorial. Okay, so what we've done so far is review TinkerCAD. We've got ourselves set up to begin our hexbug design. The next video tutorial is going to pick up where this one leaves off. Have fun!